What's up, guys? Dave here with a 2023 Honda CRF450R RWE. This will apply to any motocross bike, though, four-stroke motocross bike. Let's say you're replacing your header, like this guy here, if I can get a better view of it. We're replacing the header pipe. And anytime you remove the header pipe on the modern four-stroke motocross bike, there will be a little crush gasket or some sort of fiber gasket that is up in there, you know, that the header pushes against, like you see right there. Some of them are actually fiber material, some of them are just a soft metal, like a soft copper or brass or something like that. Make sure you replace that when you remove your exhaust. I mean, unless your bike is literally brand new. But, you know, if you remove this guy right here, you should replace it. Some of them, now notice the header on the new Hondas is actually an oval shape, which is kind of a new thing. But with most of the bikes, they'll be round shaped. And you can order them, you know, from your authorized dealer, or you know, look for on eBay, Amazon, that sort of thing. Or you may want to go to your local dealership and order the exact fiber crush gasket, it's called. And to hold it up in there, you know, wipe you just a little bit of grease on the edge, because once you put it up in there, it'll just fall right out. So to help you, you know, not be frustrated, just wipe you a little bit of grease on the side right there, on the inside of it, and it'll stick itself right up in there. Okay? And then we put our... Oh, and also, a little bit of anti-seize. You know, you can use a little brush or something and wipe you some anti-seize on the threads of the where the header pipe's going to fasten. Here's a better view. That's the crush gasket up in there. And on the studs, on the sides, you should put some sort of anti-seize material on the threads, because, you know, those get really hot and they're subject to a lot of dirt and crust and whatnot. And it'll just make it easier to remove the header in the future if you put some sort of anti-seize, you know, thread material. And I'll put a link down below where you can get that. But that's where she'll go right there. All right, and if you take a look, you know, here's from the side view here. Make sure that when you tighten these down, that everything is very even, you know, going across back in there. Make sure it's all very even. And only tighten it kind of hand loose until you get everything installed, all the way from the header to the mid pipe to the silencer that'll be back there. You know, just sort of tighten everything loose at first, because everything will need to be, you know, kind of situated properly, because you'll have brackets and things it'll have to amount to. You'll have springs that you need to install. You know, you'll have springs through here also that has to be installed. So, you know, don't go cranking down on anything until it is fully assembled and everything seems to line up correctly all up the side there. Now, for your mid pipe, for the stock mid pipe, there will be a crush gasket sleeve that goes in between. So you should probably replace that as well, especially if your bike is a little bit older. And if you're wondering why you're getting all kinds of exhaust leaks and things, these are two areas that they'll come from, is the mid pipe crush gasket and the header crush gasket. Okay, so that's just an easy tip for you. Now, with the aftermarket pipe, this Yoshimura RS12, it does not have a crush gasket like this. But just a tip for you, you know, if yours is a stock one or an aftermarket that came with a crush gasket when it was new, you should replace it anytime you know, disassemble the bike or disassemble the exhaust, or if it's been a long time since you've disassembled any of these. You know, it's just a good thing for you to do. And notice, you know, you have to keep everything a little bit loose at first, because then you've got springs that'll have to go in here. And as far as pulling springs, all right, and, you know, just sliding the muffler over the mid pipe is pretty straightforward, pretty basic. You know, it just slides over. It should be nice and snug through there also. If yours is really loose, that means you're probably missing that crush gasket, or you're trying to install maybe the wrong muffler with the wrong mid pipe. Because some of these are different diameter, I've noticed. Like some of the Premium Works Edition muffler has a little bit different inner diameter than the one beneath it. You know, as far as the price category. All right, you see where the bolt goes right there to secure the muffler, and you'll then attach another. You'll have another bolt right here to secure the mid pipe. You know, just tighten all that kind of hand loose at first. Okay, your mid pipe bolt, that go right there. You can snug it all the way down and then back it off a couple of turns. And then we'll attach our springs. And like I said, you know, they'll even Yoshimura gives you a spring puller. I personally don't prefer them. I use just a regular old set of vice grips. They're easier to hold the spring with. There's no chance of them slipping. I have slipped so many times pulling springs with those special tools. So I just use now vice grips, and I never have a problem. So that's my tip to you. See how I like to hold it with vice grips? You just clamp it down nice and snug right there. Then you can hook it around the front wherever you need to. And when you pull back on it, it is not going to slip off of there. And for the Yoshimura logo, notice that little E looking symbol. It faces backwards. That is the first letter. Okay, because notice the decal, same thing. So if you're wondering which way it goes, this is the direction it goes for normal reading purposes. Okay. See how we're holding it right there? And then when you pull back on the spring to hook it, release it right there. And that's it. Much easier than using those stupid tools. I'm sorry, I've used them too many times with failure. All right, now we come to the next spring forward, which is right behind the frame there. Hook it to the back and then hold it on with your vice grip and just pull back on it. Let me do this one-handed. Hold on. All right, there we go. Yeah, sorry, hard to do it one-handed there. So you got spring there, and then the final two springs to hold the header in place right up here at the front. And the spring, of course, it hooks there, as well as that little hole right up on that flange. That's where the other end of the spring will hook. Okay, first one's in place. Make sure you wiggle it a little bit to make sure that that spring kind of seats better on that hole right back there. You don't want it to be barely hanging on to it, so you may have to wiggle it around a little bit just to get it to seat better. And then the final spring on the other side. All right, and with these you might need a little bit of needle nose pliers to be able to fish them up in there on the flange right through there. It's a little, I mean, you can reach it from up in here, but you might need some needle nose so that you can just sort of fish the first hook on the flange. All right, see how I get my vice grips, a hold of it right in there, then cinch it down, and then give it a good pull, let it loose. There it is. That's why I use the vice grips. They're just so much easier than any of those stupid spring pullers they include. All right, and then finally you'll tighten down the header bolts and work your way back. You know, make sure nothing is binding or twisted or weird looking. And you can use some blue Loctite, you know, on the back bolts if you want to, or any of these coming through here. It's not totally necessary, but it's, you know, it's not a bad idea if you want to use blue Loctite on them. And then that'll be it. And when you're tightening these nuts in here, just do them sort of you know, a quarter of a turn at a time so that they tighten very evenly on both sides. You don't want to tighten one all the way down and then the other one, because it'll be kind of warped and bent. And you don't have to really tighten that to the bejesus. You know, just decent, firm. It'll be fine. And then we'll see, it's already nice and solid as it is. And then we'll snug down the last two up there. All right, now we've got these two done back here. Everything looks nice and solid, good. Make sure everything's in place how it should be, the springs and everything. And put your side plate back on. And there you go. Now remember, with the Hondas, you know, it's got little hooks on the backs of the number plates, so you gotta feed it from the rear towards the front in these little slots that it's got to put them in. And that is it. Oh, and I know many people are curious. See, it's got an insert on the rear right there, which can also be replaced by a spark arrestor. You know, if you're running in, you know, forestry service roads or trails where you need a spark arrestor, that's where you would replace it right there. And people ask, well, which is better? Well, Yoshimura says, and the dyno sheet says, that with that insert still in, you get the best performance. But if you want it loud and all that, you can take that insert out right there. And there's plenty of videos that'll do that. It's very easy though. You just got a screw right down there and a rubber little plug on the bottom. But Yoshimura says best performance is with the insert in. All right, let's fire it up and see how she sounds. See a little bit of smoke coming off of the exhaust down there. That's normal. You know, they come with a little anti-corrosion coating called Cosmoline, and so when you first crank it up, it might, you know, have a little smoke coming off of it, so don't worry about that. Sounds good. All right. So yeah, not a bad job. Just make sure that you tighten everything evenly all the way back, and you know, install your springs correctly, and don't tighten everything down until it's all fully assembled. It makes it easier that way. You know, you won't struggle with it nearly as much. Anyway, that's it, and I'll put a link down below for that exhaust system. You know, they make a stainless steel one as well as a full titanium system, which is considerably lighter, more than 3 pounds lighter for the titanium system. So, but it's also a lot more expensive, so that's up to you which one you want. The dyno sheet shows a significant performance increase when you use the Yoshimura system versus the stock Honda. Now on the Works Edition, it comes with the titanium Yoshimura system, you know, with the resonator and everything. Very hard to get. There's a waiting list, you know, to get them from Yoshimura. But that's the optimum performance and looks, you know, as far as for the Works Edition Honda 450, which this boy is. Very impressive bike. Hope to get it out on the track some this fall once the weather cools off. I'm not one to ride when it's 95 degrees out, so the weather's about to change soon here in Atlanta, and we'll be getting this bad boy out on the track soon. So make sure you check out our channel. We've got more than 1,500 videos relating to all kinds of stuff, working on dirt bikes, ATVs, scooters, Harley Davidsons, Yamaha motocross bikes, Honda stuff, obviously, classic cars, newer cars, trucks, SUVs, stuff around the house, all kind of stuff. So check out our channel, and if our video helped you out, make sure that you click the thanks button underneath it. Same thing with any YouTube video that helps you. If they have a monetized channel, make sure you click thanks underneath it and send them a donation. And we got eBay store, Amazon store links, and social media links in the description of this video. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you all later.